Editors do this wrong all the time, where they basically just say, hey, the edit is done tomorrow, and then they finish it like 2 days after that. Ooh, it's hot. Oh, it's such a good morning. Like, just a nice workout session, sauna. And I was just thinking in the sauna, oh, that sounds so horrible, right? Yeah, I was in the sauna. Anyway, I was thinking about the launch that I did with the Fullstack Editor Club, and the response have been really, really good. And it makes me so happy to see. And it's funny that I was like scrolling on my Instagram in the gym, which you shouldn't do. You should work out and don't scroll on Instagram. But I was just scrolling on Instagram and I saw this post of Alex and Rosie. And again, it was also talking about like results matter. Because for example, if you're an editor now and you work for free for a month for a client that you really want to, you build them up, you get them results, then it would almost be weird if they wouldn't want to work with you. Like, they will find a reason to want to work with you after that month because they feel obligated to do so. If someone helps you clean your whole house for free for a month, you would feel almost like bad. You want to give something back. At least most people have that. There are some people that maybe are going to be like, okay, no, I mean, nice, let's add another free month and then say bye to the person, and then let's get the new person in and get another free month. But that's such a small percentage. And it's quite easy to also filter those people out. Those are people with bad intention. With some things you really have to put in the work. And a lot of people want to take shortcuts, including me when I started out, by the way. Like trying to do everything to not do the work, which I don't think is a bad personality trait at all, because it can also make you think like, okay, how can I make things more efficient? But what I had sometimes where I was like thinking about efficiency so long and so much that if I would have just done the work, it would have been way quicker. So I'm just saying this so you can avoid that mistake, because yeah, it really doesn't make sense, right? I get sweaty ears. Let's cycle to the office.
Sorry y'all, I ain't got no haters. Everybody love black cash, dark Vader. You and your woman love to see me coming. Come through bumping, little kids running.
So just got the document signed, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, Rohit was a community member. I'm gonna fly him over from India to the Netherlands, but we have to go through this whole visa process, and he needs to get his document signed. And it's just frustrating because I need to print it, I don't have a printer, I need to go to this like local house and they have to like sign it and I have to wait. But one thing was really interesting, and that is that they basically said to me when I arrived there, they said like, yeah, the wait is gonna be 50 minutes. And I was like, am I gonna wait 50 minutes or am I gonna go home? And I was like, I can just like open my laptop, work a bit. And then the funny thing is that after 5 minutes, I already was like next in line. And I think they were doing this on purpose because it was nearing closing time, but also to set the right expectations. And editors do this wrong all the time, where they basically just say, hey, the edit is done tomorrow, and then they finish it like 2 days after that. And I did the same when I started out. I was always like putting a deadline way too soon. I don't know why. It's like something that you want to prove to a client, I guess, that you're like really cool. And then you're like, okay, I'll do it within a day. And then you find out that you can never do it in a day. Switch it around. Just say you can do it in like 5 days. Give yourself even like an extra day. And then if you then deliver it in 3 days or 2 days, the client will be really happy, trust me. And it's so funny because it's the same product, it's the same edit, it's probably the same value that you're giving, but the perceived value is way higher when you get something earlier than expected. It's the same if you order something online, something comes in earlier. It's always nicer than when it comes in later. I hate when that happens. Anyway, happy that I'm finally having it signed and sealed. They put like 200 stamps on this document. So I hope Rohit gets his visa. I think it's gonna rain. I just posted the announcement video and it's crazy, like the response has been nice, so that's good. But it's also funny because I got my first like hate comments, and I don't know how to feel about it. Because on one hand, I'm like, of course, never nice to get hate comments. However, I'm also thinking like, yeah, I never had hate comments before, and always people are saying like, if you're doing it well, if you're pushing some buttons here and there, you will also get some hate comments, because sometimes the truth hurts, right? Like if I state some facts or some things that are happening in the editing world, and maybe it feels like I'm almost attacking you, or maybe you feel like posting a hate comment based on that, which I think is interesting, is like the fact that I never had that, maybe that's also not great. And with this new vision, with this new movement, I don't want to, of course, insult people or make people feel bad. It's like definitely not my intention. However, I do want to be more honest and more open about the things that editors do wrong that you can improve. And it might be that sometimes can hurt. And I always try to keep it positive, because my goal is always positivity, as you know, maybe also in this channel, and also to make you grow as an editor. And this is the same in life anyway. What happens a lot is that when you start to grow, or when you invest time in yourself or invest time in improving yourself, then sometimes people around you will hate on that, because they maybe also want it, or maybe they won't hate to you directly, but they will do it behind your back, or maybe even think it of like, okay, what is this guy doing, spending a lot of time on editing or spending a lot of time on outreach? And I used to do this too. It's wild, because I was thinking like, back in the days when I saw like a really successful entrepreneur, it was so easy for me to think more like, okay, yeah, but this guy or this girl is doing this. And I would never leave like a hate comment, but it would go through my head. And I wasn't like trying to bring them down and hating on them. It was more portraying my own uncertainties and my own failures, me not really hustling enough, or not really doing the sales calls, or doing the things that I really should be doing, and then portraying that on them. And then also one thing to remind yourself is that most successful people, whatever you classify as successful, they're not really hating on other people. They're just focused on their own thing. They're just building their own thing, and they don't really have time to hate on other people. So if you get some hate left and right, think of it like that.
Now can we fall in love while Southern playalistic banging?
This morning I just woke up, got a coffee, opened my laptop and started working. And sometimes you see these like weird morning routines where you have to jump through a hoop, then into a cold ice bath, then do a dance. And although that might work for you, I would really suggest to also try out getting into work as soon as possible. And it's difficult because sometimes I'm thinking like, oh, it's so nice to also just go to the gym in the morning, get that out of the way so you don't have to think about it the whole day. And now basically I did have to think about it. I was like, oh, I still have to go to the gym, But what was really nice is I got a lot of stuff done in the morning already. And then I need to go to the gym at like 11, which again, I'm really privileged to even be able to do that. However, if you have the flexibility to do so, try it out. It's just trying things out to better manage my time. And speaking about time management, I just got 180 new members in the community, which is absolutely insane. And that takes a lot of time, but it's also really fun. So if you joined in the last couple of days, then I want to thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. And there was actually one post that stood out by a new member, and I'll talk about that. I get this question quite a lot. How do you speed up your process? How do I edit quicker? How do I finish a project sooner? And I totally get this question. I think it's actually a good question to ask yourself, like, how can I speed up the process? But there's one thing that a lot of editors, when they start out, they don't think of, which I will tell you in a bit. But the first thing you need to look at, are you good enough of an editor? So if you have to look up a lot of tutorials, if you look up a lot of explanations, or I don't know how to do this effect or this thing, it takes a lot of time, right? And if that's the case, then you know what you need to do. You need to improve your editing skills. Make sure you don't have to look for tutorials that often. That will already save a lot of time. Then of course there's like small workflow tips, like, okay, you need to use keyboard shortcuts. And most of the times these are like a tiny margin of increasing your speed. But then you also have creating presets and templates for yourself. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. Like, you can use the same text presets. Like, I do the same thing. And that saves a lot of time. And then lastly, the thing that a lot of people don't think about is just money. Let's say you get like 15,000 for a single video. Would you care to then spend the whole month on it? Because you're getting paid what you're worth. So a lot of times, yeah, you can maybe increase your speed a bit, or like, yeah, you can make it like 20% faster. But you will still not be happy with the project because you don't get paid enough, and you're thinking like, oh, I wish I finished this project sooner. But it's good to, of course, think like, okay, what are these short-term things that I can do? Which is like the presets, the templates, the keyboard shortcuts, and maybe even learning some new skills. But then in the long term, you also want to make sure that you get paid enough so it's worth your time, so you don't have to struggle about, okay, how can I make this even quicker? Because again, it's fine. If you're working on a project for 2 weeks, that's also fine. Anyway, I will also answer more questions like this if I see more community posts pop up. And if you are not in the Fullstack Editor Club, then do join. Links in the description. Then I hope to see you inside, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.